And we're coming to you live from the Rocket Health Studios here in Southwest Florida. Welcome to another edition of the Tyler McClosky Show, where we come to you live every single Saturday at 11 a.m. right here on 92.5 Fox News. Another good week in the books. And we're going to give you some updates that are to the market this week, but also some good examples. And we're bringing it back. It's just me this week. No guest. Believe it or not, I love having the guest in studio, but I feel like we get the best information out to our audience and our customer base when it's just you and I. So sit back, relax, enjoy your next 30 minutes here with me on this Saturday morning as you're driving to do whatever you got going on. And hopefully you're listening in because the weather is a lot better than it's been all week long. I mean, I know some of us got some flashbacks of the hurricane with all of this wind coming through. I just couldn't believe it, but we're actually pretty lucky that we did not get some of that flash flooding that we saw down there in Fort Lauderdale. Now, I'm online a lot on a lot of the different social apps, and to watch some of the flash flooding that came out of the middle of out of nowhere. I mean, you guys all saw what happened at the airport, diverting of the flights, people just stranded for 2 days, and all of those cars that are just absolutely flooded out. I really couldn't believe it, and I'm actually interested to see, were there more cars lost in Hurricane Ian over here on this coast or over in Fort Lauderdale in this crazy flash flooding? It's actually it's really insane how that can happen that quick. But we're going to try to brighten your day a little bit here. And at least, as you know, this week we're coming into tax week. You know, it's that time of year. Most of you that are, maybe in businesses, you filed for extensions and you're putting it off. But how does your health insurance play into that? And is that going to matter for these subsidies from the Affordable Care Act when you do your taxes? So we're going to explain all that, give you the examples, and try to see how many of you we can help out this week. Phone number to reach the show, as usual. Let me give that out right now today. Remember, you can call right now. You can text right now. We do have agents that are standing by that can talk to you. We'll try to get back to some text messages during the show and legitimately give you the right information you need on any questions you have about your health insurance. Phone number again, 239-633-3140, 239-633-3140, or you can go directly to our website, www.rockethealth.com, www.rockethealth.com. Again, it's going to give you a little bit of information about health insurance. If you do fill out your information there, it's just going to set up a time for an agent to give you a call. And we never sell your information. So remember, I'm right here local with you guys. I'm sitting here in the studios in Fort Myers, Florida. And if you have questions about anything, our agents will be able to answer you properly. And we will not sell your information to other agencies to have them bombard you with phone calls. Today, the first thing that I'm going to talk about that I think needs to continuously be hit on more and more and more, because it is happening right here in our backyard. Now, I'm going to try to not get too passionate about it. For anybody that's watching us on YouTube and seeing the show, I'm going to speak only facts, not feelings, when we talk about the very specifics of your health insurance and the plans that are available and how that they work. So this week, we actually had a caller that called into us last month, and for some reason we missed. We tried to do a phone call back. We only called 2 or 3 times, and like I told you guys all the time, we're not going to be that agency that bombards you with phone calls. If we're not able to connect, we're going to do our absolute best to call you back a couple of times, but we want you to reach out to us. We're not going to try to oversell you and continue to push something on you every single day. So we missed this customer. We went ahead and sent out a couple of text messages and reached back out to some of the people that we missed over the past couple months. And this individual let us know that, yeah, sorry we missed you before. I already ended up signing up with another company. And at the end of the day, that's what we care about the most. Clearly, we'd love to be the ones that are helping you with that. But as long as you actually have health insurance, that's the first number one goal in our mission for our company, is make sure the client is taken care of right. But you see, that's where the problem was. Because once we dug into it, to actually find out what that person signed up for, They were sold the bill of goods by another, I'm going to call it out, a sleazy insurance agent that sold this plan as major medical, sold the plan as 30 to 60% less than Obamacare, and never worrying about tax subsidies with a great PPO network. Now, you think that they may sound familiar to what we describe as health insurance here on this show and in our advertising and to the customers that we have on. But the one key thing that we talk and stress about and vividly go over with you is the fact of major medical. Now, every major medical policy has a deductible. That deductible can be as low as $1,000. It can be as high as $15,000. But if you're getting enrolled into a plan that sounds like this, no deductible, no networks, go anywhere that you want to any doctor or hospital, and we pay great fixed rates up front with no deductibles to meet, that is called an indemnity plan. And I stress this so much just so that you all know what it is. So, what's an indemnity plan? Indemnity insurance is a fixed benefit amount that an insurance company will pay for you if you have to use the services. So when that plan that you're looking at, that the agent is trying to describe to you that thinks it's the best thing in the world because it has no deductible and you can use it wherever you want, and it says it's a $5,000 benefit. Keyword, listen to me right now. $5,000 benefit. That means if you go into the hospital, they are absolutely correct. They are going to pay a $5,000 benefit. Now, if you went into the hospital for a cut and you need some stitches, or you had a sore throat and you had a cough, that $5,000 is going to go a long way. Might be really good for you. But what in the world is the purpose of having health insurance if that's all the coverage that you're going to get? Think about that. That $5,000 benefit only goes so far if you get diagnosed with cancer. That $5,000 benefit only goes so far if you have a heart attack. That $5,000 benefit only goes so far if you have a major accident or injury that you are in the ICU for 10 plus days. So everybody here listening now gets it and understands that when it's explained that way. But the problem is there's other advertisers that come on to the radio stations, the TV stations, the online ads, and they claim that these are the best things out there right now today. And that cannot be farther from the truth. They have a place. Every insurance policy has a place. But if you're listening today and you're between the ages of 40 and 64 and you don't have a group health insurance policy, or Obamacare is costing you too much, and you do have good overall health, you have to realize and understand that on the private market, there actually is something called short-term major medical. And when we say it's short-term, it's actually 3 years of length. And these 3-year policies mimic and do the same thing that you need for a major medical, which means you have a deductible of $5,000. Could be $1,000, could be $10,000, depends on where your budget is. $5,000 deductible, because what happens is you're responsible for that first part. Sure, it's what a deductible is. You guys get what deductible is. You have it on your homeowner's insurance, your car insurance, your phone insurance. There's a deductible. But then after that deductible, imagine your insurance stepping in and paying everything. You could care less what your deductible is between $1,000 or $10,000 if you are now looking up the hill in the battle of $100,000, $200,000, $500,000 worth of hospital bills, doctor bills. And that's what major medical is supposed to do for you. Now, the problem that I have with this and explaining to it so much is because there's people right here in their backyard that don't live here, and they advertise this because it might be $100 cheaper to save you some money, and they think that they're giving you the best deal when in fact they're just lining their own pockets with a policy that makes the most sense for them, not for you. Now, I've told you guys from day one, we have every single policy under the sun that needs to be done for health insurance, whether that's through the Obamacare exchanges and the ACA plans, whether that's private health insurance on the short-term major medical market, whether that is a fixed indemnity or discount policy for the people that are sick or can't afford that other option. We have it all. We work with all the top major carriers. Specifically, our number one partners are United Healthcare, Allstate Health, Pivot Health, Aetna, and Cigna. And they're all right here in Southwest Florida, Collier County, Lee County, Charlotte County. And that's exactly what we do every single day. It's not a game. It's not a gimmick to make sure that you guys have the best plan and options. So I'll pull back for a second. Let me give everybody the number for the ones of you that haven't written it down yet. 239-633-3140. 239-633-3140 or online at rockethealth.com. www.rockethealth.com. Call or text in today, 239-633-3140. And again, emphasizing on that, this client that had this situation when we spoke, they said, "Oh my God, did I make the worst mistake? Am I too late?" Well, we're going to explain that to see, was that client too late? After they made the mistake, are they able to change or not? How long are they locked in for? I'll go ahead and give you guys that answer here when we get back from our first commercial break and break it down for you so you can understand it before we have that talk. And I'm going to give you all the information you guys need right now today. So 239-633-3140. Stay tuned. You guys are listening to The Tyler McClosky Show. Welcome back. Guess who's back? You guys are listening to The Tyler McClosky Show from the Rocket Health Studios in Southwest Florida, where we come to you live every Saturday at 11 a.m. on 92.5 Fox News. I'm getting used to this radio show thing here. I had to leave you with a little teaser before we moved into the next segment. And, we're adapting over these last 2 years. So for the ones of you that have listened all this time, thank you. And again, I still find it comical and funny and amusing that some of you listen all the time when we're still just talking about health insurance and business. But we got a good, loyal audience out there. Phone number to reach the show, call or text 239-633-3140, 239-633-3140, or rockethealth.com, www.rockethealth.com. Now, I left you with something, again, that's very close to me about people going into the wrong plans. And the wrong plans because the agent is selling it as something that it's not. The agent is telling you it's the best thing in the world. And the only reason you didn't go the other way is because you didn't know that option was there. It wasn't presented to you. So our motto here, our mission, is to always take care of the customer first, no matter what. And it sounds cliche, but it's the truth. And here's the reason why. Even if you want to look at it selfishly, we will always make the money that we need to make from the longevity of being in this business and taking care of the most customers. So we are not pushing one product, one company, just to line our pockets. We do very well in this business because we have a lot of customers that we help, all right? And the good news is, too, we don't charge you a single red penny for our services. We present what plans are available. We get those options down for you. We'll make a suggestion on what we think is right, but at the end of the day, the ultimate decision is up to you. So I know that if you're working with us, it doesn't matter what the prior situation was, we can take care of it. Now, if you guys listened before the break and that customer that said, I made a mistake, I signed up for an indemnity plan with a specific carrier, and I thought it was major medical. I'm getting charged $450 a month for something that is absolutely garbage and will not protect me for a major catastrophic illness, injury, or hospital visit. What do I do? So here's the good thing that comes into play. Since we were able to get on the phone with this person, what is able to qualify you for a major medical plan on the private market? It's not your income. It's not the time of year. It is your good health during underwriting. Now, we all know underwriting can change all the time. whether the carriers decide to change how they're going to underwrite, just like in the banking and mortgage industry, underwriting changes from credit scores, from interest rates to money coming in. The carrier decides what is underwriting based upon an application. So when we talk to you and we go over the examples of asking you, hey, how's your overall health? Do you have any pre-existing conditions you're concerned with? Do you take any medications? Now, just because you might have a small pre-existing condition or take a medication for a high blood pressure or cholesterol, that does not mean you are excluded from underwriting. That's why we have underwriting. There are some specific knockout questions, and some of those examples would be like, in the last 5 years, if you've had a diagnosis of a cancer. Now, again, that's just in the last 5 years, not 7 years, 10 years prior. If you had a heart attack in the last 5 years, if you got diagnosed with diabetes, some carriers will exclude, some others won't. But those are the things that we discuss and talk about. More times than not, I'm telling you, this audience, this customer base that calls into us, they qualify for the private market. And that's the thing that bothers me so much, is that the agents that sell these indemnity and discount plans only give them guaranteed issue policies when maybe they weren't trained, maybe they don't realize what else is out there. That'd be like you getting car insurance right now and saying, hey, yeah, you're buying car insurance that doesn't have a $250 or a $500 deductible or a $1,000 deductible. You're going to buy this car insurance that's going to cost you a couple dollars less per month, and it's going to give you $1,000 if you ever get into a car accident. $1,000, here you go. So if your car accident cost you $15,000, $20,000, if you total your car, here's $1,000. You pay whatever the rest of the bill is. That's exactly what happens in the health insurance market when you're buying something that's not a major medical. Those two key words is what you guys need to listen to. Major medical. Standard deductible. Everything's covered after that. And believe it or not, when we talk, and my previous customers, if you're listening now, thank you. But you'll realize that we tell you, we actually cover your deductible in certain situations, like an accident, like a hospital admission. We build those into the plans. Some of the carriers offer it directly into the plan. So you can have a little bit higher deductible, which reduces your monthly premium, and built-in riders that cover your deductible in a bunch of situations. So now your monthly premium is cheaper than what you thought it would be before, and you have the right coverage in place. So that customer was not too late because that customer was healthy. That customer had one medication that wasn't a big deal. The customer hasn't been to the hospital emergency room in the last couple of years, was not diagnosed with anything new. And yes, that customer now is spending $115 more per month. But that customer just went from insuring them from getting $5,000 to $10,000 of coverage to now millions upon millions of dollars of coverage. That person now can rest assured and know that, hey, God forbid if I get cancer. So who here listening right now, who here listening knows somebody, if not yourself, that's been diagnosed with cancer? Please tell me, who knows somebody that's been diagnosed with cancer? Take a guess at what some of those bills are. Now, again, separate conversation. We're not talking about healthcare. We're talking about health insurance. Whatever the healthcare facility and offices and doctors charge, how much is that for chemotherapy? How much is it for surgery? How much is it for the hospital stay? How much for radiation? And how are you going to get coverage for that? I promise you, listen to me right now when I say I promise you that if you qualify for one of the short-term major medical plans on the private market that can go up to 3 years, you will have all the coverage that you need in case that ever happens to you. All your bills will be paid outside of your deductible, and you can travel with your plan. So you are not pigeonholed just to a certain doctor, just to a certain facility. You can go in or out of state. So our snowbirds that are still here, before you guys go back up north, take a look at that. And again, we are talking about reputable major medical health insurance carriers. We're not talking about something you never heard of before that might have a network name. We're talking about United Healthcare, Allstate Health, Aetna, Cigna, and Pivot. This is what we do for you guys on a daily basis. 239-633-3140. Again, if you're driving, pull over. Type it in your phone. You can text or call 239-633-3140. 239-633-3140. Or online at rockethealth.com, www.rockethealth.com. And before we close off the show today, since you guys got me fired up a little bit, I want to get back to those other examples. So if you are on COBRA or being offered COBRA, if you're retiring early, if you need to bridge to Medicare, or if your group insurance is through the roof, we're going to discuss that in depth on the last segment of the show. So please don't turn the dial. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in 60 seconds. You guys are listening to the Tyler McClosky Show. Welcome back. Back better than ever. You guys are listening every Saturday at 11 a.m. the Tyler McClosky Show from the Rocket Health Studios on 92.5 Fox News. And again, left you a little teaser before the last segment. But I hope you guys are enjoying your Saturday here. Much better weather this week than we've had with this crazy wind and rain. And your health insurance might be the last thing in your mind, but if you're going to listen and pay attention at all, if you're just tuning in, if it's your first time, I've got about 4 minutes to sit with you and give you the examples you need, what makes the most sense, how it affects you in real life examples from customers that have called into us. So let me run through that quickly for you. Phone number for the show, 239-633-3140, 239-633-3140, or on rockethealth.com, www.rockethealth.com. All right, let's start with the people that are getting ready to retire early. Congratulations. You're 60 years old. You want to retire now, as you absolutely should. I think you should retire when you're 50 if you're able to. But you stay on your job because of the benefits. You don't realize there's options besides your group insurance. And now you got the bill for COBRA. And COBRA just told you your wonderful insurance that was mostly paid for by your company for the past 20 years is now on your shoulders. You've got a bill of $1,500 a month. And you think, I've got 5 years to Medicare. What the heck do I do? So that 60-year-old, if you're in Collier County, Lee County, or Charlotte County, Marco Island, Naples, Fort Myers, Cape Coral, and you want to retire early because you deserve it, if you are looking for a plan that is comparable to your group health insurance, that's going to give you all the protections that you need to bridge that gap from now until Medicare to make sure you have major medical health insurance that's not through healthcare.gov or Obamacare, that 60-year-old individual is looking roughly right around $500 to $600 a month. Now, let's say, hey, I've got my spouse that has always been covered under my insurance as well. We're both 60 years old. We need to be covered together. Well, guess what? You're going to get a little bit of a discount for being on the plan together. And depending on the deductible that we choose, you will be under $1,000 a month. You could probably be both 60 years old, right around $700 a month, depending on deductible and benefits. Now, that is going to be including your doctor's visits, urgent care, prescription medications, hospital coverage for everything related hospital needs. And when you worry about any type of exclusions, you never have to worry about the major medical side, guys. Anything related to cancers, heart attack, strokes, it's just like you're used to. And the best part about it is we're going to lock you in for 3 years. No matter what the government decides to do or the changes they make, they can't take this plan away from you. No matter what happens, you have it for a minimum, if not longer, a minimum of 3 years. And we're going to bridge that gap for Medicare. So there's your real life example. You don't have to call in to get those numbers. That's what it is. But if you're in a situation that you need to make that change and it's time to retire early, let's look at it right now and see if you qualify. 239-633-3140. Now, if you are the family that has your spouse and your children and you're on your group plan, let's say maybe you're a teacher here in Lee County, and maybe your insurance for you as the teacher, as the employee, is pretty affordable. Maybe it only costs you $100 a month to be on that plan. But the second you check the box to say, I want family independence, spouse independence, the family plan, you see that $100 a month go up to $1,500 to cover a family of 4. We don't have to talk about that's probably half your paycheck after taxes. So that family of 4, let's say you're both in your 40s and you have 2 children. If you were to keep the spouse on the group insurance, that might be a very good plan. Comes right out of the check. We can get that other 40-year-old spouse, the 2 children, onto the private market through Allstate Health, United Health, Pivot Health, and get you a short-term major medical policy that's going to last for 3 years. So every year you can review it, but they can't take it away from you. You have it for 3 years before you renew. That family's looking under $500 a month. Under $500 a month for 3 people that they just tried to charge you an additional $1,400. If you've been questioning this, guys, this is the time to look and switch. 239-633-3140. As you're finishing up your taxes this week, take all of this into consideration and look at where your money goes. Inflation is up. Gas prices are up. Everything you can think of is higher. The cost to go out to eat is insane. Make sure you have the right health insurance plan, but make sure that you're not paying too much. 239-633-3140. 239-633-3140. Call or text or online, www.rockethealth.com. www.rockethealth.com. Listen, this was a good one-on-one show again, bringing it back. And we might have a guest next week. We might be one-on-one. I want to update everybody after the tax season's over this week. But I really hope that whether we're reaching one individual on this call or 100 people that call in this week, like has happened before, we want to make sure you have the best plan at the best price. So 239-633-3140, rockethealth.com. Thank you, everybody, for always listening every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. This is the Tyler McClosky Show.